I froze, my laughter dying mid-breath, the fork halfway to my mouth. My husband's eyes, those calm, storm-colored eyes I knew so well, were staring straight at me from across the restaurant. For a moment the world went silent. The hum of chatter, the clinking of glasses, even the soft jazz floating through the air. It all vanished. There was only him, standing by the bar in his gray work shirt, disbelief etched across his face as he took in the sight of me, and the man sitting opposite me. I hadn't planned for it to happen this way. Just 2 hours earlier, I had stood in front of our bedroom mirror, running a hand through my hair, pretending my heart wasn't pounding. Going out with the girls again, Daniel had asked from the couch, a tired smile playing on his lips. His sleeves were rolled up, his tie loosened, the fatigue of another long day in his voice. "Yeah," I'd said lightly, keeping my tone casual. "Sarah's birthday. We're having dinner downtown." He'd nodded, no questions, no suspicion. He trusted me completely. That trust had always been one of the things that made me love him most. But lately that love felt different. Or maybe I was different. The truth was, it wasn't Sarah's birthday. I hadn't seen my friends in weeks. Instead, I was meeting Evan, a man I'd met 3 months ago at a marketing seminar. He was charming, confident, and had that effortless charisma Daniel used to have before life's weight dulled him. First, it was harmless. Coffee after the seminar. Texts about work. But somewhere along the line, I started waiting for his messages. Smiling at his compliments. Feeling wanted again. And that night, sitting across from him in the warm glow of the restaurant's candles, I told myself it was just dinner. Just 2 people enjoying conversation. Except it wasn't. Evan reached across the table, brushing his fingers against mine. "You look beautiful tonight, Claire," he said softly. I should have pulled away. I didn't. That's when I felt the shift, the prickling at the back of my neck, the sense that something was off. I glanced up, and saw Daniel. He wasn't supposed to be there. Of all the restaurants in the city, he had chosen this one, our old favorite from when we were first dating. The one where he'd proposed. He didn't make a scene, didn't storm over or shout. He just stared, his eyes darkening with realization, and then he turned and walked out. My breath hitched. "Daniel," I whispered, standing so fast my chair scraped the floor. Evan frowned. "What's wrong?" But I didn't answer. I grabbed my bag and ran after him, heart hammering, the sound of my heels echoing against the tile. Outside, the night air hit me like a slap. I scanned the street until I saw him, a lone figure walking toward his car, shoulders stiff, hands clenched at his sides. "Daniel, wait," called out. He stopped but didn't turn around. "Go back inside, Claire. Please," I said, my voice breaking. "It's not what you think." He laughed, a short, bitter sound that cut through me. "You think I'm an idiot?" "No, You told me you were out with your friends," he said, finally facing me. The hurt in his eyes was worse than anger. It was quiet devastation. "And then I find you here. With him." Tears stung my eyes. "We were just talking." "It's not." He shook his head. Don't insult me by pretending this is innocent. I saw how you looked at him. The silence between us was unbearable. The streetlights flickered above, casting long shadows over the sidewalk. "Why?" he asked finally. His voice was low, almost trembling. "What did I do wrong?" I opened my mouth, but no words came. Because how could I explain something I didn't even fully understand? Daniel had always been good to me. Steady, loyal, predictable. But somewhere along the way, that steadiness started to feel like distance. Our conversations had turned into routines, our laughter into polite smiles. Evan just noticed me. "I didn't mean for this to happen," I whispered. "I was just lonely." "Lonely," he repeated, his voice breaking on the word. "Do you have any idea how many nights I came home late, trying to make sure we had everything we needed? You said you understood. I thought we were a team." I bit my lip, tears streaming down my cheeks. "We were. We still can be." He stared at me for a long moment. Then he said quietly, You already made your choice, Claire. And with that, he got into his car and drove away, leaving me standing alone under the streetlight, shivering in the night air. The days that followed were agony. He stopped answering my calls. His clothes disappeared from the closet. The sound of his laugh, his warmth, gone. The silence in our home felt unbearable, echoing off the walls like a punishment. I texted, I begged, I apologized. But his responses, when they came at all, were short and cold. Then, one evening a week later, he finally agreed to meet. When he walked into the cafe, I barely recognized him. He looked different. Tired, hollow-eyed, but resolute. "Thank you for coming," I said, trying to smile. He nodded stiffly. "I figured I owed you a chance to explain." I took a deep breath. "Daniel, what you saw, it wasn't an affair. Swear. I didn't sleep with him." He looked down at his coffee, swirling it slowly. "But you wanted to," he said. My throat tightened. "I don't know. Maybe. But it's over now. I ended it." He exhaled, the sound heavy with exhaustion. "Claire, it's not just about that night. It's about trust. You lied to me so easily. You looked me in the eye before you left and said you were with friends." "I know," I whispered. "And I hate myself for it." He finally looked up, his eyes glistening. "Do you remember our first anniversary?" I blinked. "Of course I do. You told me then," he said softly, "that no matter what happened, we'd always tell each other the truth, even if it hurt." I swallowed hard. I meant it. He shook his head slowly. "Then where did that promise go?" Tears blurred my vision. "I was stupid, Daniel. I was selfish. But I never stopped loving you." He looked away, jaw clenched. "Maybe. But love isn't enough if it comes with lies." We sat there for a long time, the silence stretching between us like an ocean. When he finally stood, I reached out, desperate. "Can't we start over?" He hesitated, then pulled his hand away. "I don't know if I can look at you without seeing him." The words hit like a knife. I wanted to scream, to beg him to forgive me, but deep down I knew he was right. He turned and walked out, the bell above the door chiming softly. I watched him go, realizing that some endings don't come with shouting or dramatic scenes. They come quietly, in the space between two people who once shared everything. Months passed. The divorce papers came in early spring. I signed them through tears. I saw him once after that. At a grocery store. He was laughing with someone, a woman I didn't recognize. She touched his arm lightly, and he smiled in a way I hadn't seen in years. He didn't notice me. Or maybe he did and just chose not to. Either way, I stood there for a long time, frozen among the aisles, realizing the weight of what I'd lost. It wasn't just a marriage. It was the man who used to look at me like I was the only person in the world. And now, when I think back to that night, the restaurant, the candlelight, the moment our eyes met across the room, I realize that was the instant everything broke. Not because he caught me, but because in his gaze I saw what I'd done, the trust I'd shattered, the love I'd taken for granted, the life I'd carelessly unraveled. And that's a look I'll never forget. Not for the rest of my life.